This is the third video in our Reactor introduction series. In this video, we're going to be discussing object manipulation. This covers everything on how to move objects around, how to rescale them, how to rotate them, how to flip them. In previous videos, we've already shown you how to import an STL file and create an object and how to select your printers. So we're not going to go over these too in depth here, but we're going to go ahead and import our torture test. Again, we're going to be returning to the left toolbar where we have our object manipulation menu. From left to right, we have move, scale, rotate, flip, and supports. We'll go ahead and start with move. And again, we see in parentheses a keyboard shortcut. As long as the move tool is selected, we can click and drag the object around on the print surface. Or alternatively, numerically, we can insert where we want the object to be placed. By selecting the Z-axis, we can drop the object below, and only the parts of the object above the print surface will be printed. And again, the reset button, which is going to reset the model back into the center of the print area. Next up is our scale and shortcut S. Numerically, we can see that we have X, Y, and Z scale, and then the X size, Y size, and Z size. These are in millimeters, and we have a fixed aspect ratio, which will help us keep the model ratioed properly. And once again, a reset button, which will reset the scale. While this tool is selected, we can also click drag, and the object will respond by scaling up or scaling down. Go ahead and reset. Next up, under rotate, we can numerically enter a degree value and rotate the model along that axis. And again, the reset. If you're looking for the surface on bed tool, this is where it's accessed. As long as the rotate tool is active, if we zoom in, we can see that there's a plane and an arrow. This is showing which direction will be placed against the bed. So we go ahead and click. As we can see, it rotates that plane against the surface of the bed. Try here. And instead of dropping the model below the print area, it'll rotate so that surface is facing the bed. And again, we can reset. Next up is flip, which is shortcut F. And this is pretty self-explanatory. It's just going to flip the model along the axis. This is a good way to quickly mirror an object. And the reset. After that, we have our support menu, and this is going to open, and there are three options here. We have none. We have the build plate only, which will generate supports from the build plate, and support everywhere, which will generate supports on top of the object if the algorithm determines it's necessary. And that algorithm is primarily based off of the profile in the printing settings. Once again, we'll get into that in a later video. Other object manipulations are under Edit, and each of these have a keyboard shortcut in parentheses. Delete selected is, of course, will delete the selected model. Delete all will clear the print area. Select objects will select all objects on the print area. Duplicate. Auto place. This is similar to functions such as center and arrange. It's going to try to center all the objects around the center of the print area. Group objects, ungroup objects, align, and group objects. These are grayed out because currently we only have one model selected. So we'll go ahead and duplicate. And by holding Shift and clicking on the other objects, we can select multiple models. And in turn, they will all be manipulated together. Alternatively, we can go up to Edit, and we can group these objects. So now we can no longer select them individually. And they're basically considered one part. So if we duplicate, we're going to get another one of these. We can also ungroup these objects. so that now they can be selected independently. We have an undo and redo function at the bottom, and it works as you would imagine. So again, we have the reset workspace, and this is going to undo all the manipulations that I've done. Again, it's going to warn me that everything's going to be lost, and we return to just a single model in the center of the bed. I think that wraps up most of our object manipulation for this video. In the next video, we'll be discussing modifiers.